Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Lazy Cat Reactions. This is the fifth episode of Heartland, titled The Best Laid Plans. As we know, in the last episode, Amy had a horse named Red that was afraid of water, and the horse panicked and caused her to fall and hit her head. Red, of course, was owned by a very spoiled man, or boy, I guess you could say, named Ben, and he basically refused to listen to anything they had to say, and he's staying there at the ranch. And because of that, that created some tensions, and so now Ty is at Briar Ridge, although I don't think that's going to be permanent. That's going to be something that will just last a little bit. Also, Amy found out that Jack had been keeping secrets about their dad, and some stuff he hadn't told Lou either. And so Tim is now trying to kind of work his way back into their lives. So let's get going with episode 5.
Work the marathon.
Ashley again.
Perfect. Ashley's coffee. Oh, my ornaments of that special cappuccino mix for you. Green tea, please. I know, right?
Wouldn't that technically be harassment?
Go for it. Thank you. I get no support from you.
So she's going to go and ask her friend who does the videography for weddings, I'm sure. And my guess, excuse me, my guess is that it's going to turn out to just be great. You know, it'll be professional and basically everything they would want. And they'll probably do it for a fraction of the cost because, you know, he knows. Because I know she was talking to that director, and I know he knows Carl. And so because he knows Carl, maybe he would have done it for a discount, but I'm sure it would still be way too much. You know, and I get that Lou wants to get them business and stuff, and she said the open house was a success. And this was about the time, you know, when social media was really starting to take off, so I'm sure at some point in the future we're going to see that with social media, because, you know, my thinking on that is they should, and again, this was probably back in 2007, but, you know, like, why didn't they start, or why don't they start, like, a YouTube channel where, yeah, they could have videos of them writing and stuff like that, because that might drum up business, you know, because they could film, you know, Amy taking horses out and helping them and training them and stuff like that, so it would help. You know, that would help get the word out, that would help get business. You know, and then of course, like I said, I'm sure as time goes on, we might see her talking about that. Then of course, you know, they could have an Instagram page and stuff like that. And again, that might be something that we see later. I'm only on episode 5 of the first season. Maybe that happens next season, a couple seasons from now, who knows. But, you know, Lou should be taking advantage of every opportunity. Make a video, YouTube page, Instagram page, whatever, and do what she can to drum up business. And you might say, well, Instagram doesn't really work because you get people who don't even live in the area. And that is very true. But, you know, the exposure is good, and it would help eventually, you know. So I'm sure we'll probably see something like that as it gets further into the series.
So it's the spirit, the beauty. Oh, don't worry about the mineral health. We're moving in.
You don't really need to down.
Oh, right outside her window, jeez. Oh God, just think of the smell. And the woman, you know, the probation, like, it's not that big of a deal, you know. She's talking about, we've got some of the most expensive horses, and it's like, don't you think that maybe the kid might have learned, you know? And with the exception of a few things, everyone deserves a second chance. So, you know, he's obviously going to go back to Heartland and everything, but yeah, she was being really unfair to Ty about that. And I knew that Ashley was lying when she said that she had mentioned about the probation. It's like, yeah, you liar. You didn't say shit about it, and we can tell. Camera shy.
Cut. It's okay. Just go again.
So apparently everyone is pissed at Lou, I guess, for doing the video, and probably because of what happened with the horse. And you'll notice her friend and her husband were kind of in a bit of a hurry to get out of there. It looked like he had been having a good time, but maybe it was because she kept making snide comments, you know, this isn't a wedding. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up, Lou. Let him do his job, you know? But yeah, what's going to happen is the commercial's going to air, and it's going to be really successful. They're going to get a lot of business, and it's going to work out. It's going to work out well. I'm excited to see what the finished product was going to be. And of course, when Jack finally was able to find his words, he did a great job with it. And like I said, you know, I bet that later we'll see something about social media and stuff like that, because now pretty much was about the time when social media really started to explode. And so she should definitely take advantage of that. And like I said, it kind of surprises me that she didn't think about a video before, especially when she was doing the open house. You know, if nothing else, she could have filmed the open house. You know, say we had an open house and it was very successful. You know, that would have been something to include in the video as well. But she didn't think of it, you know. You know, Lou's trying to do all this, do like the business aspect, and some things she's doing well on, but other things she's failing at. And I'm guessing that one video we saw earlier was her losing her job. We haven't heard anything about it yet, but I'm guessing that's probably going to come out later in the episode. Let's go on.
Welcome to Heartland. 600-acre ranch that's been in the Barton family for 6 generations.
Here we go.
It used to be a cattle ranch, but my daughter Mary gave it a new direction.
People at Heartland make a better horse than they treat it.
Lou, as I just said, is very self-centered, you know, like, she hasn't been at her job for months, because obviously we've had a lot of time has passed, you know, several months at least, and it's like, did she really expect that if she was going to be gone that long, she was still going to have a job? That doesn't mean, of course, that she wasn't working remotely. She may have been, because she said something about a conference call. And I don't believe back in 2007 they had Zoom. So it was probably something that she, listened to audibly. Obviously now, if this was set now in 2022, she could definitely do it remotely and be able to participate in Zoom calls and still get the work to them. But, you know, remote work wasn't that big back then, you know. It was pretty much just kind of starting off and everything. So yeah, had this been set in 2020, 2022, it wouldn't have been a problem probably. She could still work remotely and keep her job. But you know, she's obviously upset that she lost her job. Obviously, this guy, Carl, she's not gonna stay with him. And now she really doesn't have a reason to be in New York. So now she will, of course, stay here because we knew she wasn't gonna go anywhere. You know, she's gonna definitely stay here at Heartland and run that as the business. And Ty's coming back. He just walks right in.
Just stay. Please.
Okay.
Yay!
It's fine with Jack.
Because I know nothing was more than bossing you around.
One thing I know for sure.
You ought to do the right thing. Just move it back. Help Lou. It'll make her feel better.
Sure. Downsizing. That's what my dad said when he got fired.
You know about that.
I got years.
Like, who's back?
Oh my god, Tyler back! I missed you so much. Did you see the barn door? I peeked today. Because I wanted to, but because Lou wanted all type A. Decided the place needed an extreme makeover.
Now she's riding him. Without a saddle, but still.
Thanks. Yeah, he's pretty great.
You have a name for the animal yet?
Yeah, well, like you said,
Steve.
he's as stubborn as a mule and has almost zero people skills. So, I decided to call him Lou.
Think that's funny?
Yeah, that's funny. You're smiling. Well, I voted for the name Steve, but I'll go with Lou, especially like she said, you know, the zero people skills and everything. And I get Lou being upset, you know, but it's really not the end of the world. And like Jack said, you know, now she doesn't have to split her time. She can focus solely on the ranch. You know, it doesn't seem like it's that bad. I know she wanted to get out of there, but it doesn't seem like it's that bad of a deal for her, you know? At least she has a roof over her head and food to eat. So I think it's going to work out a lot better. Obviously, she and Carl are going to break up. Looks like that's what the next episode might be about. She and Carl obviously will probably break up. And then, of course, she'll start a romance with Scott, looks like. Ty, of course, is back. I think he was wanting Amy to say that she specifically wanted him back, which, of course, she didn't say that yet. But I think it's coming. I definitely think that that is coming. It's on its way. So, you know, we'll see in the next episode what is going to happen. Obviously, we didn't see Tim in this one. He wasn't in episode 5, so maybe he will be in episode 6. Maybe not. I kind of feel, in a way, like maybe they should have asked Tim to be in the video, but at the same time, that probably would not have gone over well. But it also seems like they could have maybe asked a couple other people because, you know, you had Scott as the veterinarian. They could have asked Mallory. They could have interviewed Ben. They still could have gone to Briar Ridge and talked to Ty. He could have maybe filmed it on the fly. You know, just to make it better. But the way it was kind of funny. So people liked it, you know, it shows a sense of humor and not everything has to be oh so professional, you know. you make people laugh, they're going to enjoy it more. Episode 5 is done. So if you liked this react, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok of the same name. If you are watching this on YouTube, head over to Rumble to see the complete react, because this is probably the edited version here on YouTube. And if you are watching this on YouTube, if you are watching this on Rumble, excuse me, head over to YouTube to see the edited version of this. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.